Hi, welcome to the Side Corner, and this is Mamun. I've been doing this podcast for years, uploading episodes after episodes. I have never that much talked about my journey on business, um, how I operate those, how I make sure it works. So today, in this episode, I'm gonna debunk the secrets. Not all of them, but something that I can. So if I have to say about the early journey of making these things happen. Uh, Problem solving was uh, one of the important things that has to be addressed from the first that I ever started. And if I have to be very specific, um, doing and making sure the solution is perfectly fitted to the problem and its target audience is one of the most important things that I ever found in making any product uh, published or like distributed to the market. If I talk about my one of the early ventures, it was a jersey brand. We Jersey means like the player edition jerseys of football players. So we started doing business on that. We started selling stuff. So what happened? We saw an opportunity in 2022 when it was World Cup, and we saw a big demand of jerseys, especially player edition. And as Bangladesh is a humid and hot country, there's not that much uh, options available because jerseys are not that much comfortable to wear. Not most of them, many people wear it, but it's synthetic fabrics and it might cause irritation for some people with sensitive skin, and people sometimes ignore it, but it's uncomfortable at the end. People just be patient over it, so that's why they don't care. So suddenly we thought, like, why not just selling some jerseys? So me and my friends was on a tea break, and we thought of pulling some money together and go to a wholesaler and buy some jersey at a cheap price, and we'll sell it. So we got some. We went there the next morning, or I think the next the day after the next morning we gone, and we bought a couple samples and ordered later a lot and started marketing it. And that's the fun part. And that's why I love marketing. I think marketing is one of the most, I will say, exaggerated, sometimes underrated, sometimes overrated, but very important part of any business. If you want to be into the market and just gain serious sales. Um, if I have to divide the markets into the commodity and service, commodities uh, sell way better because they fill the needs of the people. And most of the time, the needs are very boring. For example, like buying rice or just getting a doctor's appointment in physical location of a clinic or a hospital. It might something it's not feel like commodity, but two different things, which is can be service and commodity itself. So commodity market doesn't require that much marketing because if people already have attention attached to it. So they know when they need it and they go and find it. And there's a lot of competition in the market and they're eating everyone's shares and trying to survive. But in the service market where you are holding a product or holding a service and using the service to sell that, marketing becomes a very vital point because we live in an attention economy. What attention economy means is uh, just like any economy, the currency is attention. So the much more attention you have, the much more economical power, economical movability you got. So, for example, 200 people knows you, and you can say something to them, and they will try, and most of the time they will do uh, make that action that you were pitching. You have 200 people's attention power. So if you have a brand which has a bigger attention That means you can convert them, most of them, at least 20%, as Pareto's principle can be converted into sales if you work hard and if you're doing it right most of the time. So we were thinking what we can do. Because if we do the normal marketing, we're beating, or maybe have to beat, or maybe get beaten by the people who are selling in a very lower prices, much easier to search. It just comes to your house and very cheap, as I said in the first. So we wanted to penetrate the student area, mostly from university situated in Dhaka. So we wanted to get the crowd. So to get that crowd, we've started to find out where we can put our attention materials, right? It can be called the lead magnets, it can be called the marketing materials, it could be called the creatives, whatever you say. I say the attention materials, the attention leads. So we thought about the washroom. Washroom. So what happens when everyone goes to university? At least they go to washroom. If they're staying for 2 or 3 hours, they at least go to the washroom, um, as kind of something they do every day. And of 100 visits in washroom, 80 visits or 80 more than 80 visits are for peeing. Um, you can say urinating if you want to be much more, you know, sophisticated, I want to say. But so basically, we wanted to put the ad on top of the basin where people pee. This seems weird. That's really weird. And people say a lot of bad mouth, or did a lot of bad mouth about us when it was happening. But suddenly, it it worked because people, when they're peeing, they don't see under, right? They see at the top and or like straight, and they saw our ad, and there's a queue associated with it. And this we got a lot of messages, and suddenly a thing happened. Um, I didn't know that much about negative marketing, and back in then, I had some knowledge. I knew some brands doing that, but I never thought like it would work like that. It was unexpected, and some guys like took the photo and they posted into the groups of the university, and it flooded, and people were laughing, people were just skeptic, and people were also complaining about it. So a lot of emotions, angers, and confusions created a big pool of attention, which made us buy a lot of attention again, and we got into that, and we tried to increase in sales from there. So we sold a very good amount of jerseys on that occasion. It taught me one thing, that I later understood, that everything in this world has a market, and what we do as a mistake when we ask the questions there where everything lies. So if you ask, is there any market for this product? It's one of the bad ways to enter into the thinking process of making something work in business. Rather than, if you ask the question where I can put the market for this product, or where I can sell it, or when I can sell it. So if those two questions are clear and you're confident about it, most of the time you will feel this thing's gonna work. Or if it's not working, then there's multiple factors that needs another explanation, but it's very basic, right? So doing on that, it helps to smoothen the process itself. And if going forward, I also did a lot of small ventures like a jewelry startup shop or something, where I just bought jewelries and got saw a lot of potential in jewelry, especially men's jewelry, because the market in our country was maturing, and everyone was pro-life, adopting different kind of uh, cultures, and men's jewelry was an attractive thing. People love to wear rings with character, People love to wear bracelets with masculinity. People love to just put something on their jackets, or even just wearing a chain, which is very simple. It just gives them a lot of character, right? So we were playing onto that. We got some orders. We got some good photography, product photos, product images, and um, we flooded them into the market, and it worked out. Again, the where and when was important for it. Later on, I worked in agencies. I coordinated a lot of marketing campaigns. I did a lot of psychological background work on understanding customers, tapping into different markets, tapping into different psychological aspects, and persuading them to take an action based on ethical response. It was fun. It was going well, and I started my own agency. And um, one problem I found in service industry is scalability. So what happens if you have a small team where you are producing the service assets and providing to your clients? You can serve on the basis of manpower you have, because human mind has some constraints over how much he can output or she can output. So if you have, suppose, if I'm talking about a very basic digital marketing or SLMA, social media marketing agency, generally there's some touch points like the creatives. So the creatives should be made by someone. So I think if I, for example, say a designer is making the creatives, a video editor is making the video creative, so two people, uh, a content strategist who are just planning the content, making the calendars, making the captions, making the copies, uh, spraying and laying out the campaign plans, the content strategies, if I want to say one. The social media manager who takes those contents, takes the calendars, and they post it on the internet, and they are all distributed to the internet or distributed to the social media or media channels if there's any. To that contrary, if you at least have five people, you can manage 5 to 6 clients easily, because the workload will not be that much hard. You can pay full time, and they will work for you. But if you want to get into 10, you have to expand your team. So the more you expand your team, there's a paradox happens. The paradox is quality. Because when you have a team of five, you can directly see and monitor what's happening, what's the quality of the creatives or the quality of your work. But when it expands, there's multiple people, multiple brains, multiple way of thinking. A client's work can be different and another client's work is different, but you cannot make consistency. That's one of the biggest problems. And there comes the capital. Because service industry is so much oriented on contracts and unpaid invoices for days, it requires a lot of inbuilt capital to run the business. And if having problem with that, what happens that you will be very struggling to run the team and paying the salaries. So we found out a problem. We found this problem very early, and we knew that it would happen because I was preparing for it. I was prepared for it. So we wanted to outsource. We wanted to be connected with other agencies which have bigger teams, and they can do bulk creatives, bulk generation of content in a very cheap price model for us, and we can upsell it. So started doing it, and it worked well. We onboarded many clients. We are still working with it. Then comes which clients, especially where we should put our services in, right? So I thought a lot about it, and found out the people who are desperate to just get into the social media channels are mostly in the saturated marketplaces. For example, the coffee shops, the restaurants, and it's very much accessible. You can go and walk in and talk to them. It's not like just big corporate houses. You have to go through 10 doors and you'll find your portfolio or even your works folder to be onto that 200 email list. Just not how easy it feels in the corporate, right? So we started pitching to the cafes. We onboarded a lot of cafes. We frequently went to sales visits. We talked with them. We tried to say like, this is wrong. This should be done. If you have plans to work with us, you can talk to us. We'll try to make and give you the things that we can. And it worked out. Later, I started working on Mudra. It's a finance startup. It's fintech. It's a financial tech. If I were to elaborate it, so we're trying to democratize the investing landscape. So Bangladesh has, my country Bangladesh has around 150 million plus people. And as I think if anyone have some basic economical knowledge, um, the market in economics works mostly in two bigger markets, as money market and capital market. So money market is where the money business happens, like DPS, Shonche like you can swipe treasury bills, bank deposits, FDRs. And the capital market is where stocks are being sold or ownership transfers, you can say. It's mostly company stocks, mostly mutual funds, open-ended mutual funds or like privately held mutual funds, all these things in capital market. And Bangladesh capital market is so small than its current GDP. It has so much room to grow. It's in infancy. And for the years after independence, no one has that much worked on it. Um, and it's been heavily manipulated. So we saw this problem, and people of our country wants financial freedom. Everyone wants financial freedom. They want to have a safe basket of assets where they could put the money in, fill the trust, and go forward in ways so that they can use that money for any kind of needs and wants they ever feel to be in. So we started working on the prototype, and we're still working with the prototype, and we're trying to onboard different mutual fund companies. We're trying to talk with the asset management companies and securities companies so that they can help us in opening BO accounts. And we were also trying to make the tech as good as possible so that it can be used by any demography of Bangladesh. It should be very user friendly. And we're also focusing on the education because finance in a country like Bangladesh is just seen as only a major in a major subject in university. It's just a degree or something, but it's very much important because money, what do we say sometimes, evil, but this is where this paper or even like these assets um, influence our every decisions of life. We're using it every day, and we don't have any knowledge about how to manage it, how to put it, how to grow it, right? So we want to do that in that sense, and currently we are serving that purpose. We're working very hard to say, at least in summary, uh, the learnings that I got, it just makes me feel very humble that um, anything can work and anything can also not work. And what matters is just making things stable and building on it. So from the beginning days, I was very risk taker, very good risk taker, I would say. But risk taking also has its own downside, and that's pain and frustration and loss of assets, loss of health, and I can just give you a list of 2 pages. There's a lot of things. And so the things I found out, you have to make stability. So you have to have a stable cash flow from somewhere. And then you start taking risks so that if anything fails, if it's good, if it's going well, then it's going well. But if it's not going well, it's not leaving you that much with pain or loss. So a stable income could be a job, but it also has a double-edged sword characteristics where you cannot put that much time on your business. But it could be a very small business itself, which generates money, like in commodity, but it needs capital. So there's another issue if there's people struggling with capital to solve. Or it could be a savings or emergency fund, and that's your building. that will help you to navigate through the heydays and work under pressure, work under pain. And that's one of the things that I was doing and I'm still doing to fine-tune it. To observe the situations and the current landscape in the global politics, global geography, and geopolitics. Um, these are not getting that much happier. The people gonna be much more desperate about their thoughts. The AI is ruling over the world. People's thinking, people's way of doing work is so much associated with AI right now. It feels so fake. So we have to adapt to it, the new technology like the internet did. And there's a lot of works to be done. There's a lot of markets to be tapped and lots of things to be addressed. Um, and I myself trying to be a part of it, not just seeing it in the into the distance. I'm in it. I'm in the game. So that's what really matters at the end, because uh, happiness is something so much related to control. So the more control I have, or you have over your body, your mind, the more control over happiness you have. So you can be happy without anyone. So control is one of the important aspects, I would say. So I have talked a lot in this episode. I think that says a lot of stuff about the journey that I'm having right now. And I will bring out different kind of topics from now on. I've been a little bit off on the podcast area for a couple of months or years, so I'm trying to do it regularly and will upload. So yeah, keep in touch and subscribe to the Side Corner on Apple Podcast, on YouTube Podcasts, and yep, see you in the next episode.